Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. I am sorry about the lateness. That is totally my fault. I'm what's called a techno dick, and I had just installed another capture card over here on the business. I did some thrift store shopping, some pawn. I like some pawn shopping and thrift store. You know why? You can negotiate, and they're more than happy to get rid of everything, right? And they're already dirt cheap prices, right? So
Yeah.
got some steals today, Fitch. I'm not gonna lie, I got some steals.
Nice.
So in doing that, I hooked up this capture device, and it changed my my default microphone. So I'm sitting here like blaming Fitch. I'm calling Fitch on the phone. I'm frantic like a woman that's just lost her baby. I didn't want to say a woman in general.
Dingo.
Yes.
Dingo ate my baby.
Yes, exactly. Like, where's my baby? What's going on? And all my fault. As Fitch restarted, I realized, you know what? I could be a moron. And I often am. And thank you for bearing with that. We got fights to talk about. We got the future to talk about. We got Big Daddy Bezos saying he wants to live forever. People are acting like this is new. I'm gonna try to talk to people like adults. But in case you didn't know, they've been de-aging mice for decades. Not one decade, for decades publicly. It's just been in the backdrop. We're going to show you some Kurzweil, the godfather of transhumanism in many people's eyes. This guy is the man who's made many predictions. And, you know, I watched a couple of Kurzweil's lectures beyond what I had seen 15 years ago. I specifically remember him as kind of like this centerpiece in a film called The Worldwide Mind, and I'd seen him in some other things. I'd only read small captions, and I think the problem with Kurzweil is either he is supremely naive about what his bosses are doing with this information. For instance, I watch an interview from like 5 or
They're
6.
helping people. They're totally going to help a lot of people.
Well, he was working. So Bezos, right? This is how we're going to get into all of it, guys. We're going to show you a lot today.
Time, man.
Get ready. This is going to be a Big Daddy moment for some people, and realizing how far along they probably already are in de-aging human beings, mammals, and such. So he's talking about these things in like 2004-ish. Now in 2010, I guess we already have it up here, so why not just show people, right? You can go back all the way. This is Wired, and this is talking about de-aging technology, I think about 11 years ago, and they specifically talk about Calico and Big Tech and Kurzweil being hired for their curing death division, basically. Okay, so you know this is they cure death like, and he's talked about this for a long time. And man, we got a big time clip that no one's seen, Fitch. We got a reveal here that people are gonna want to see. So Kurzweil,
YouTube safe.
It is YouTube safe, actually.
Okay.
And thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. Eventually, we will talk about things that are not YouTube safe, and you'll have to go to the Rockfin for that. But we have Kurzweil. First of all, Kurzweil, what I like about Kurzweil is he admits that overpopulation is a myth. And he actually talks, and this is going to be a different video, guys. So sorry, this is like a primer, that he's in a conversation with like the head of the IMF, right? And they're spouting the overpopulation propaganda. And he specifically says, look, we're not even harnessing like 1/10,000th of the free energy that surrounds us. And then he goes, we haven't used 95% of the usable land on the planet. And this is going to be a totally different video. Yeah. What we're going to show, John, and this is a lecture in 2018, and he talks about basically gene therapy and editing our genes with bio-nanotech, right? And then he says, you know, how good it's going to be because we're going to be able to reprogram our DNA to basically ward off all diseases, right? This is part of that de-aging thing. And he goes, but we also have to realize that the threat exists that a bioterrorist could get involved in this. Hold on. Work a flu virus that was highly transmissible and much more deadly and release that as well. I have it. We're going to play it. We're going to play it here on Mixed Martial Mindset. But before we do all that, guys, All right, let's do the roundup because we also are going to talk some fights. I don't know. Did you watch Fight Night last week? The Till beating, like where Till got thrashed by Brunson.
No, he's still can't wrestle.
I mean, Brunson's still running there with his chin up too, and he had his opportunities. He countered him a couple times, but I mean, come on, let's get it moving. So, johnfitch.net, that's where you find everything John Fitch. Now, Fitch,
Yep.
I know you've also been doing the John Fitch Knows Nothing, and you've been focusing on crypto lately with the crypto boom
Yeah, we had
again.
a great show the other night. Talking with the guys, maybe too late to join their crypto mindset course right now, but Bitcoin took a big dive today. It was a good buying opportunity if you're paying attention. But yeah, we had good guests last week. The week before, we had privacy guests on. So hopefully keep these good guests going. Sundays at 7.
Where did Bitcoin fly to?
Man, it dropped to like 45, 40, maybe lower.
But it was only a little bit.
Somebody posted like 42. Like it dropped really quick for a second. It went back.
I mean, I guess, but like it's only been hovering around 50, a little bit, like not even through 51. Mm-hmm. Its max was around 60.
46 now.
I'm telling people now.
It was up to 52 last night.
Yeah. Look, all I'm saying is don't sleep on Ray. Don't sleep on that Ray token, son. It's free speech. It's coming up. It's Ethereum also. I mean, look at Ethereum hitting new highs. Over 4K.
Support creators are getting censored on the big platforms.
It's been a savior for me, I got to tell you. And that's one way to support the program, guys, is you make that premium account. You can actually get a year now for $99.99. You get all my content, all Fitch's content. Sam Tripoli just put up his new stand-up, No Lives Matter. There's so much good content and more people coming in. Michael Tracy, Max Blumenthal. You got Steve from Slow News Day. You got Askren on the MMA side. Matty Scouts, man. There's so many people out there that are doing great content, and it's over at the Rockfin. You're putting out premium content, showing people how to defend themselves, aside from giving those personal one-on-ones.
Yep, I got a seminar coming up on the 18th out here in the Bay, and then hopefully I'll have a good portion of that filmed, and I'll cut that up, make that available online to everybody else. I have stuff up on Gumroad. Check all my links in my bios to find that stuff. Yeah, man. Teaching people out of the garage, small groups, and then that seminar will be nice.
Well, I also saw you post that sometimes, total beginners are so much easier to work with than a lot of these, guys that are pros or have fought in MMA or had amateur fights because they don't want to break the bad habits and they've just got this attitude that they already know everything. Talk about that a little bit.
No, yeah. A lot of people think they already have it figured out. So, you show new technique or new concepts to some people. They already have it in their mind how they're going to do it because they already got things figured out. I know, buddy. I got experience. I've been doing this a little while. They cars rushing through their heads, and those are the people who end up plateauing and never getting to be as good as they could have been.
That's interesting.
So you just got to listen to your coach and shut up and do it again.
So Fitch. We are going to talk some transhumanism. We already kind of alluded to it. We'll play that stuff up. Other wild things going on across the country. More and more selective enforcement of these quote-unquote CDC restrictions. Some kids are in masks. Some are not. We have certain cities. Some we have slave passports. Some we do not. We have venues. Some want their slave stuff. Some do not. You're over in California. You're kind of in one of the bellies.
There are still some places around here where they're not even making people wear masks inside. It's kind of the people all know who go there that they don't care about wearing masks, so nobody wears a mask. And so there's little pockets of people who are just doing their own thing. But I feel like there's probably a lot of people who would embrace the passports, if they started pushing them here, because they're already doing them in San Francisco. I don't think it's going to be too much longer until, I don't know. It depends on what happens with the recall, but
What
They
are
try to
your
push
thoughts
it
on the
through.
recall? Where does that go from here? Obviously, Gavin Newsom is wildly unpopular. In fact, Joe Biden just got heckled in New Jersey. Have you seen this yet? So
I saw people throwing rocks at Trudeau.
I haven't seen that yet. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, the bottom line is people are fed up. They're sick of it. They're sick of being treated like children. So let's bring this up here for everybody to see.
You've been watching the Australian camps.
Listen, man, we're going to be playing a lot. Okay? We're going to be playing a lot. So here's Joe, and they're going to act like this is MAGA people. It's always MAGA people that hate him. No, everybody, no one likes Joe Biden. Let's play it.
No one likes Joe Biden.
They called him a tyrant, resign. He would leave you behind, they're yelling.
Ronald Wiltrick buried in Arlington, 2011, December 11th. For what? He lost his life for what?
So that's somebody who's, again, talking about just in 2011 calling Joe Biden out for when he wasn't just Zombie Joe. You know, when he was actually making big boy decisions for the cartel as the vice president that was installed. All right? So to act like that's a MAGA moment, first of all, is disgusting. It's not. It reminded me of Katrina when people told Dick Cheney to go fuck himself, right? Because we're sick of this. We don't like these installed puppets. We don't like these tyrants. And Joe Biden's not running anything.
Who do they represent?
Yeah.
What person is that representing?
I'll tell you what, the guy screaming at Joe Biden represents the American people way more than MAGA or Joe Biden ever would. You know, I mean, it's disgusting. I mean, look at this. This is what they didn't want to show you. Look who showed up, okay? I mean, folks, you know, this guy couldn't get, 20 people at his rallies of Zombie Joe, but he's the most popular and voted in president ever. And this is, again, look who showed up. People are like, oh, F Biden. People are all across the streets like, we don't want this guy here. And they got a photo op with what appears to be, I think that's a woman or a man in a woman's haircut. Oh, Joe's hugging a child. Look, he hugs children. Wow.
It's all better now.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, dude, and he's wearing a mask outside, but hugging children. But, I mean, we're in weirdo land, okay? So, just to kind of emphasize the transhumanist thing. So now, Jeff Bezos is investing in the anti-aging stuff. These are going to be carrots on a stick that you're not going to have, folks. All right? That certain movie stars will get eventually, along with they'll have to have some kind of a chip that regulates it in their body. Okay, it's going to be hip. It's going to be cool. Billionaires are going to do it. You don't get it. They fucking hate you. I want to make that extremely clear. Now,
they're not helping everybody live forever.
Not even close. So listen, we've also talked about this idea of what will humans do in the future, right? And we talked about how NASA and Dennis Bushnell have said it's not quite clear. Well, I want to pull up Mr. Great Reset himself. This is an interview from, I believe it's 2015 with Charlie Rose, okay? Now, it's going to start with him talking about basically gene editing therapy, John, okay? We got good clips today, okay, folks? Going to be talking about gene editing therapy, but at
the last guy I want to talk about gene editing therapy.
In English, so we don't even have to read it. He's with Charlie Rose, so it's very, Clausian. I mean, Santa Claus is coming to town. So Klaus over here, at the end of it, kind of talking about the fourth industrial revolution and those robots we've been talking about, John. And by the way, Singapore's got a new police spot on the street. We're going to show that.
Oh, joy. They'll never get it wrong.
So he says this at the very end. Okay, this is how they know they hate you. When he's like, what will humans do in the future? He's not like talking about, art or engineering. He says this. Not everybody can be a robot polisher. So let's play the clip. Yeah. He loves
The
you,
difference
Klaus.
of this force.
Hold on. Here we go. Fourth Industrial Revolution. Here it is, folks. Out of the horse's mouth 6 years ago.
The difference of this forced industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing,
Right.
just as an example, it's you who are changed.
Yeah,
And of
yeah.
course, this has a big impact on your identity.
Yeah. And offer certain kinds of possibilities that have to be careful about. You know, when you began to do that kind of gene editing, some people worry that you are changing what it means to be human.
That's the problem. And of course, the new industrial revolution offers us many opportunities, but it raises manifold questions on the ethical, but even legal implications. And we have to be prepared for it. And that's what we want to do in Davos next year.
Let's stop that. Notice how he seemed less concerned with the ethical stuff and more concerned with the legal stuff there, John. He got real excited when he says that. And then he said, that's what we'll be talking about. And he's talking about at the World Economic Forum at this point. So now let's flash forward to the automation. Now, he just told you, gene editing, you are becoming something other than human. This is out of the Schwabian's mouth right here, Mr. Great Reset. Okay, Mr. China's going to run the show. That's the model. Let's just play it.
Talk about technology and how the ways it can be deployed, that contribute to growth rather than exacerbate unemployment. How will that implement itself?
It's a big question mark because there is a fear that technology, robots, just to take one
You gain
element,
productivity from machines.
exactly, and it replaces maybe the workforce or jobs faster than we can replace them with new jobs. Not everybody can be a robot polisher and so on, so there will be new jobs.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher, as the robots take all your old jobs and they're not replaced. Huh? This guy wants you in a digital passport. These are the people that are saying not what Kurzweil is saying, that there's plenty of free energy and there's plenty of resources and we haven't used 95% of the land. This is a guy that wants climate lockdowns. This is a guy that wants a social credit score. Do you think these people are going to abide by a social credit score? Do you think you're going to get the life extension technology? It's a bad joke, John. It's a bad joke. I mean, after you see that, what do you think? Do you want your kids polishing robots, John?
Oh man, these guys.
Was that depressing enough for
I
you?
mean, it's just what do you do? What do you do?
Wow.
Because it seems like they've already got the robots coming. People are going to be begging for the robots. Oh, this is so great. And then people are out of work. And then what? It'll be 10 years of people like out of work and suffering before anybody ever reports on it or gives it any attention. It'll be like the opioid epidemic, right? It took like how long before anybody said anything about it? People just kept dying.
Well, here's the thing, man. Right now, with what's going on, I mean, my aunt. I don't know if you know, my aunt did die 3 days ago. Now, totally killed her. They isolated my uncle from her, quarantined him. It looks like my cousin is gonna live. He's off the vent and all that stuff. But they're talking about permanent dialysis. He's 30 years old. How long is he gonna live? These guys are fucking murderers, man. Like I don't know what else to say. I can't get too into it right now because we are on YouTube, and I didn't want to get too emotional about it. But it's craziness, man, and this is it. And this is the guy that's going to tell us what's morally right. I mean, again, these are United Nations organizations. That's what the World Health Organization is. This guy promotes that bullshit. He helps run that stuff. Again, he didn't write the book COVID-19, The Great Reset, and give you every type of slave New World Order proposal I've warned about for the last 20 years now, out of it just happened. It didn't. Okay, it didn't. And I mean, this is how much they care about you and your health. Rutgers bars unvaccinated student from attending virtual classes. That's how much they care. Like they want listen.
I saw this morning. Like, why does it matter if he's virtually learning and he's not there in person? Why does it matter?
Well, you know what? There's a couple stories I want to hit before we go to the other side. But we are going to go to the other side soon. So make sure you have that free Rockfin account at least, and you are following Jason Burmis. You are following John Fitch.
I can't understand how any of this would be legal or stand up.
It's not legal
to a lawsuit.
This is
how could
the
it stand
takeover.
up to a lawsuit? I mean, if the person had AIDS and you're like, no, we can't let you attend virtual classes because you have AIDS. How is it different?
Listen, everything's out the window, bro. Everything's out the window. A couple unrelated but so related stories. We're coming up on the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and they're continuing to legitimize Guantanamo Bay, and they're just resuming Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, right, and the other 4 suspects from 20 years ago, okay, in a military tribunal trial about 9/11. Let me explain this to people. This is what a show trial looks like. But this is a modern show trial. This isn't we parade them out in the public and we behead them and we let everybody know how evil they are in a short stint. This legitimizes black sites. This legitimizes military tribunals. This drags out a foregone conclusion of total propaganda. That's all this is. I mean, can you imagine that it's taking them 20 years to prove that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the guys did 9/11? Like, that's where we're at. That's what they're telling you. Remember? I mean,
look at all the hard work, guys. Look at all the hard work we did. We got it.
I mean,
mission accomplished.
And I've just seen so much 9/11 propaganda out there. Remember, this was Khalid when they caught him, right? I mean, again, like, I think that was in 2002 or 3. It's a bad joke, guys. It's a real bad joke. It's sick. And Rosie O'Donnell, I'm going to give her a shout. It looks like Rosie O'Donnell is actually holding a Forbidden Truths 9/11 panel with some of the family members like Bob McIlvaine and others that are questioning the government's role. She did so back in the day. She questioned Building 7, the controlled demolitions and such. So listen, Rosie, we may not agree on a lot of things. Thank you on the 9/11 issue because it is very important. Upstate New York, John, actually, you might be familiar with this area. I know you spent some time outside of Syracuse. But there's an incident. You won't see this in the national media out there in the Syracuse area, Onondaga. And basically, this one man had a gun, and he actually shot it, fired, loaded handgun in the direction of several people. He had a 9mm. Another person, let's make sure people can see this, who had a permit for a 9mm handgun, killed him, shot him in the head, and killed him. And this is the district attorney who said this. The district attorney said in a statement that based on the preliminary investigation, it appears the man who shot Jackson saved the lives of several individuals. So notice the good guy with a gun scenario, because guess what? The other gentleman who was firing at the other people, believe it or not, John, he didn't have a permit for that gun.
Oh, wow.
That's weird, right? So the guy...
So weird.
That fired
somebody who didn't legally have a gun used one.
Well, and he fired it at people that didn't have guns either. They didn't have guns. Luckily, somebody did have a gun, and that person also had a permit and also knew how to use his gun, and then killed that person before he killed everybody else. Huh?
Yeah.
You know, nobody.
I know how that works.
Yeah, nobody is happy that somebody's dead. But I'm certainly happier that the person that wanted to kill a bunch of unarmed, innocent people is dead instead of the other way around. Yeah. Yeah. So we got a couple I-word stories. We haven't talked about Rogan I-word, but they're listen.
It's a big one, I feel.
I mean, they couldn't really censor it on the internet, right? I liked the headline that I don't know if you saw
they're
my
doing
video.
a lot of they're trying to put out the fire now. Like they're still trying to, but what do?
Well, you saw the fake Rolling Stone story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how bad was that? And then you had mainstream media still spouting that
And
nonsense.
like 70% of poisonings or something like that were from
Listen, folks,
the big guy.
don't take it from Jason Burmis. Take it from Bloomberg. They're letting you know this is never going away. Your 5-month booster is just going to be the 3 out of the 5 shots they told you about much earlier. Israel's rolling out number 4. The Delta variant is almost old news at this point, right? It's the Mu variant is the next thing. Okay? And this is where we're going to go to the other side.
The Ligma variant is one you got to watch out for.
Oh, I think it's going to be the Zeta or the Xi.
Ligma nuts.
It's not going to be the Sigma nuts or the Sigma
The
news.
Ligma nuts.
Ligma nuts. Guys, we're going to talk about the I word a little bit. We're going to talk about what's really going on in the world. We can't do it here at YouTube, unfortunately. I do want to remind everybody, I'm a documentary filmmaker. All my stuff is free. It's in the playlist section. Invisible Empire, New World Order Defined, Shade the Motion Picture. And before the 9/11 anniversary, please check out Loose Change Final Cut and Fabled Enemies. I'm going to be a lot of places 9/11. I've already done a lot of canned interviews. You're probably going to be seeing them in the next couple days popping up. Look, if you don't understand that issue, you don't understand what's going on now. Okay? If you believe that Guantanamo Bay is a good place where they murdered John McCain on treason, you're delusional. You need to stop. That never happened. It was never legitimate. There are no white hats for you. Okay? The white hats don't exist. Okay? You're the white hat. There's no secret cabal. If you're still buying into these people that tell you they have super secret code sources, I'm sorry. You're shot. It's over. Listen, just like all those lefties out there that refuse to say that the I word did anything for anybody and it was a big conspiracy and blah, blah, blah. We're the crazy ones. Have your come to Jesus moment as well. So we're going to Rockfin, rockfin.com. The links are down below if you want to financially support me.